Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, this is Jesse with the Common Nerd. And well, since President Trump implemented Doge and Elon Musk has been pulling back all of the crazy curtains on all of the dark secrets going on behind the walls of your federal government with all of your wonderful hard-earned tax dollars out there, we've been seeing a lot of crazy transparency finally come to fruition. We've also seen a lot of canceling of a lot of projects, saving the federal government and all of us, the American taxpayers, a lot of money out there. Well, guess what? Part of those investigations, part of those findings out is none other than the Walt Disney Company right at the center of it. Because yes, boys and girls, the Walt Disney Company has used your American tax dollars to funnel all of their crazy agendas, not only here in the United States, but around the world. And if this shady marketing doesn't show you that this is not completely and totally not on the up and up, well, then I don't know what to tell you. I've probably got some oceanfront property in Arizona I can sell you, because as you can see right here from thatparkplace.com, exclusive, U.S. government paid over $14 million of taxpayer funds to suspected Disney subsidiary. Yes, boys and girls, your hard-earned tax dollars were going to fund the woke agenda over there at the Walt Disney Company. You know, the Reimagine Tomorrow that they just recently canceled and shut down the website for because their investors and the whole rest of the world were pounding them out about it? Yes, that one, the not-so-secret gay agenda. Your hard-earned tax dollars were going to fund all of that. Doesn't that make you feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside? So we're going to check out this article from thatparkplace.com, getting all of the juicy details of exactly where all of the evidence lies on this to completely and totally show this, to erase any kind of doubt in your mind if you think this wasn't going on. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already. Boys and girls, we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 1,600. We're on our way to 17, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Do you believe this report? Do you believe WW Pro and his investigation that's showing that, yes, your hard-earned tax dollars did go to fund the Disney Corporation? Or do you think maybe we need to look into this a little bit more and verify things? Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. And if you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description as well. All right, from thatparkplace.com and our dear sweet Montanero. A new investigation by That Park Place has uncovered what appears to be concerning financial connections between the Walt Disney Company and the U.S. government, raising questions about transparency and media bias. Federal taxpayer funds have flowed to Disney through the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, the one you've been hearing about in the news all the time, and potentially the Department of Defense through an obscure entity called Buena Vista Non-Theatrical Incorporated, with little public accountability or clear justification for payments. Now, if that was all on the up and up, boys and girls, why wouldn't this be out in the open? I mean, Disney's working with the military. That's got good kudos all around, right? You get to really inspire, kind of do a little favor for the American people, right? Help things out. What would be wrong with that? Well, it's probably not so on the up and up after all then. One of the most glaring instances of taxpayer money benefiting Disney was the USAID-backed television program Team Ciari, launched as a partnership between the USAID, the U.S. Department of State, the Walt Disney Company, National Geographic, and Wildlife Direct. The children's show aimed to promote environmental awareness among African youth. Yes, boys and girls, your American tax dollars were going to fund a children's television show in Africa to promote environmentalism over there. Once again, funding things abroad that we literally have no business being involved in as usual. According to publicly available data, the U.S. government approved up to $6 million in funding for Team Ciara in 2021, shortly after President Biden took office. Okay, now $6 million probably doesn't sound a lot to many. It sounds like a lot to many of you out there, considering the overall scope of the federal budget, right, and the massive deficit we're in and everything else. But think about how much money you pay in taxes every year, right? The average person in the United States, only the top like 1%, will ever even pay like $1 million of taxes in their lifetime, right? Over the course of their lifetime, most people will not pay $1 million in taxes, okay? So that means this $6 million is not only all the taxes you've worked for your entire life, but your grandparents, your children's, your grandchildren's, and your great-grandchildren's, probably beyond. That's how much money that USAID funneled to the Walt Disney Corporation. Because here's the funny part. We don't even have any real documentation as to find out how successful this thing was. The show supposedly debuted in 2022, but its reach and impact remain questionable, with even IMDb offering little clarity on its current status. Is there even anywhere we can watch it? Can we even see the fruit of our $6 million in taxpayer money? I don't know. Apparently IMDb doesn't even know. Given the substantial funding involved, the lack of transparency surrounding the program's success or lack thereof is troubling. Was taxpayer money used efficiently, or was this another example of government largesse benefiting a powerful media corporation? Well, I think we probably know exactly where this goes because we've all seen enough of this stuff over time. Trust me, they've turned us into the cynical ones. That's the reason why we throw red flags down on their stories when they've got a bunch of race swapping, gender swapping, and wham and power nonsense, right? Because we have seen this happen time and time again. Every time this stuff gets exposed, we know exactly what it is. It's a payoff. It's because guess what? This is how the cycle works inside of our current federal government system right now that Trump and Elon are trying to clean out, right? Lobbyists go to Washington. They lobby politicians. They take them out to nice dinners. They give them they give their family and kids some nice presents, stuff like that, right? Throws them a birthday party, right? Then they get their favorite bill, right? They get a little bit of your tax dollar monies in some kind of government program. Then what happens? Oh, that's right. That lobbyist gets a payout from that as well because he's got his consulting fee that he gets all of that covered and paid for under. And then it rinses and repeats, and he goes right back over to the politician, buys him more dinners, takes him out to more places. And again, it's just they are literally taking your tax dollars straight out of your pocket and recycling them through your corporations back to the politicians through the lobbyists, and it's a rinse and repeat cycle. Why do you think your politicians are so rich? Why do you think Nancy Pelosi is worth $80 million? Because this is how corrupt our system has gotten. This is the cycle between private institutions and our federal government tax dollars. This is why all of this stuff is getting exposed. This is why Elon and Trump are doing what they're doing, because we're sick and tired of getting robbed blind by major corporations that are worth billions of dollars. Boy, I wonder how they got so rich. I wonder if it's maybe part of the same reason all of our politicians got so rich. I mean, Disney has lost billions of dollars over the last few years after all. But I guess if daddy government's footing the bill, it's not that big a deal. Now is it? In addition to Team Sorari revelations, that PAC Place has identified another questionable financial connection. More than $14.89 million in Department of Defense. $15 million. Let's just round up. Why not? $15 million. Almost three times what was spent on the last project. And at least we have some evidence as to what that went to, because check this out. And this is DOD funding. $15 million. When I was in the Air Force, there were times we couldn't get plastic media to blast parts that had to be x-rayed and inspected to ensure the safety of our aircraft and our pilots. Okay? 15 million would have covered our plastic media for 10 years. And you would have never had to worry about any of the aircraft safety when it came to any of those parts. That is an insane amount of money from the DOD. Department of Defense federal payments were made to a company called Buena Vista Non-Theatrical Incorporated. The entity has virtually no online presence, raising immediate red flags. However, our investigation traced its physical location through MapQuest, and an attempt to visit its listed website redirected to a 403 forbidden page on Disney.go.com. Methinks that's probably not a coincidence. Strongly suggesting a link to the Walt Disney Corporation. The issue was first noted by our Hollywood scooper and that Park Place publisher WDW Pro. As you can see right here, exactly why is the U.S. Department of Defense paying vast sums of money to a Disney subsidiary year after year, totaling millions of dollars for motion picture and theatrical distribution? This is one example, but there are many. Disney's use of Buena Vista name is well documented. The company's frequently incorporates it into various ventures, as it's referenced Buena Vista Street, home to Walt Disney Studios in Burbank, California. I'm sure that's just a coincidence, isn't it, boys and girls? Given this history, it seems likely that Buena Vista Non-Theatrical Incorporated is another Disney-controlled subsidiary. I mean, is there a certain point where we can just stop these companies being able to set up these subsidiaries? Like, if you're going to operate, just operate out in the open and do it under your own stuff. Like, what point do we do this? Like, I understand LLCs and stuff like that, but you got to go through a mass amounts of documentation and stuff like that. This is ridiculous. Yet, despite nearly $15 million in government funding, there's no public record detailing what these payments were for. One possible and entirely acceptable, no, explanation can be funding for Shades of Green, the military resort. But without documentation, that remains speculative. And that's what they do. They go on to speculate to a lot of different things, a lot of different options, that it could be benefiting the U.S. military, helping out with soldiers, getting access to stuff overseas. But if that was the case, why are you doing it under this shady sub-corporation and not out in the open going, hey, look what we're doing for our military. You guys love our military, right? Look what we're doing for our service members. Yay, yay, yay. Duh. It would literally slide right into your marketing budget. So why is it all being hidden? I don't know. And even if it was, say they're producing, I don't know, movies. Like, because, Disney used to produce cartoons, right, for propaganda during World War II. I'm sure the government paid them for that. If that was the case, where are these production pieces? Where is this propaganda? Where is this stuff? But of course, we know better, right? It's shady, underhanded dealings, stealing from your hard-earned tax dollars and giving it to one of the largest, if not the largest, media corporation on the planet. Further complicating the role of the situation, Disney owned ABC, yada, yada, yada. We've talked about all of that kind of stuff. And so that Park Place goes from here. So where do we go from here? At that Park Place, we're committed to continuing our investigation. Federal agencies have long have a history of financial entanglements with major media companies, and this could be just the tip of the iceberg. We will be scrutinizing government expenditures related to ABC, Marvel, National Geographic, and other Disney entities to determine whether taxpayer dollars have funneled into the corporate giants' pockets. So yes, boys and girls, it ain't over. The American public deserve full transparency in how their money is being spent, especially if it benefits one of the most powerful entertainment companies in the world. If the government is financially supporting Disney with taxpayer funds, it's time to demand accountability. Amen, Brother Montanaro. Amen. Because this is insane. This is insane. We're talking $20 million of taxpayer funds that have gone to the Walt Disney Corporation with almost no accountability. I don't care if you're a Disney freaking pixie duster. I don't care if you snort Disney's farts, the Walt Disney Corporation's farts, and just snort them up like cocaine. I don't care. Okay, I don't care. You have to want to know where your money was going. Because guess what? Maybe it is all on the up and up. Maybe I'm completely and totally insane. Maybe I just hate Disney so much. What's wrong with accountability and transparency? Don't you want to know where your hard-earned taxpayer dollars are going? Because guess what? If you don't, if you're against this accountability, if you're against this transparency, then you're nothing more than you're a member of the cult, and there is nothing we can do for you. At the end of the day, just like it says in the good book, at some point you have to dust off your sandals and move on. But for the rest of you out there who still have a shred of common sense inside of your head, for the love of God, pay attention to this stuff. Share it around. If you don't share my videos out, share somebody else's. Go to thatparkplace.com, share out their article. Let everyone you know about this, because this is insane that one of the largest media corporations on the planet is getting your taxpayer dollars with zero accountability. Tell us, Washington. Tell us, Disney. Where did our $20 million go?